Hello, crafters and stampers. Welcome to my Friday Live. I'm Sarah Chapello. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and the name of my business is Sassy Paper Craft. This is the card we are going to be making today. Pretty shimmery. And I am going to be using the returning stamp set from last year's annual catalog and dies. Forever Fern was a bundle. Now it is separate, but we still love it. So I'm going to give everybody here a few seconds to pop on. And if you are watching me today, feel free to leave a comment, say hi. You will be entered into a giveaway, which I will be announcing at the end of this card tutorial. So if you're watching, go ahead, leave a comment, and I will draw a winner next Friday on my live video. So we're also going to be using 3 of the 5 new in colors. We have Soft Succulent, Evening Evergreen, and Fresh Freesia. So let's go ahead and get started. Now I have a Evening Evergreen card base here, and it is cut to 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4. And then I just have a piece of basic white that is cut by 5 1/4 by 4. And I did not, again, write down measurements for this card, so let's put out our handy dandy ruler here. I have a piece of Soft Succulent that is 4 1/4 by 2. Another piece of basic white that is 3 by 2 1/4. And yet another piece of basic white that is 2 1/2 by 1 1/2. And so my intention for this card was to use the gold foil that is in the catalog. I didn't. I used the retired champagne foil, and this is cut at 2 3/4 by 1 3/4. So this card requires a bit of stamping. So let's get our stamps out and ready. So I used this sentiment, to a friend that makes me smile. I use this leaf, this one, and these. So let's get those out and put on our blocks. And I also use this splatter stamp and my sentiment. We're going to do our stamping first. Put these on the block. So let's start with our smaller piece here, the 1 1/2 by 2 1/2. And I'm going to take Fresh Freesia and the stamp and ink it up. I'm going to do 2 to 3 of these, maybe 2. Oops, and 2 of those. And then I splattered with that Evening Evergreen. Move that so I don't get it all inky. And I just kind of went all over until I barely had any ink left. That looks good. And then we're going to take a scrap piece of basic white that I have right here. And this is just a scrap piece I had lying around, and we're going to stamp this again in our Fresh Freesia because we're going to be die cutting it. So the Fresh Freesia is done. And now, while I have my Evening Evergreen out, I'm going to take the big leaves here and stamp those. And then I'm also going to take the other basic white piece that I had and stamp my sentiment in Evening Evergreen. And I went over to the far right of this because we are going to be putting the die cuts on here. And now our Evening Evergreen is done. And now I need Soft succulent. So this soft succulent piece that I had cut out, I'm going to do what's called tone-on-tone stamping. I'm going to take this stamp here and just kind of go all over, inking up every single time and just turning it so you don't get the same image twice. I mean, you do get the same image, but so that way it's kind of like a pattern, and we're making our own designer series paper this way. And if you have little blank spaces, like I have a blank space there, that's okay because we're going to be covering it. But try to make sure you get your edges. And if you overlap a little bit, that's fine. Nobody knows how it is supposed to look. That looks good. And then while I have that out, I'm going to take another piece of basic white that is 5 1/4 by 4, and I'm going to stamp the inside of my card. Hi, Tammy. So glad you could join us today. I'm just going to take soft succulent again and stamp it in the corners there. And if that looks really dark, it's just because the ink is wet. Once it dries, I use a different stamp for that, but once it dries, it does lighten up quite a bit. Let's move that to the side. And then I also need one more for the front of our card. Put that there. And so that is our stamping is done. Pretty quick. I like quick. Let me just clean off my stamps and get them out of the way before I ink myself. So in the comments, why don't you tell me what your plans are this weekend? I am going to be at the Bay County Fairgrounds here in Michigan tomorrow. If you're local, I'd love for you to come out and see me. I'm doing a craft show. I'll have a retired stamp for sale, some cards that I've made, things like that. So if you're in the Tri-City area, I'd love to meet you. And it is from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. tomorrow at Bay County Fairgrounds. And I do have the event listed here on my page. So if you're interested in that, come on out. I will have giveaways out there as well. Put all these blocks away, and then we can cut out our die pieces. Let's bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And then for this, we're going to need the base plate number 1, the cutting pad number 2, a cutting plate, and then our stamped images. And let me give you a look at these dies in case you have not seen them. They come, the stamp set, well, if you buy it, you have to buy them separately now, but it comes with a ton of dies. So we're going to need that one, the other one, that one, and that one. And there's all kinds of cool dies in here. These make such pretty cards. I'm so glad that this stamp set and die set stuck around for the new catalog. And let's line these up. And for these, if you wanted to, if you're really worried about them moving, you could always use some washi tape or a Post-it note to hold them down. I'm not too worried about it, so I'm just gonna run it through as is. Try not to move the dies. And I really need to take like a dryer sheet or something to my plates because I get tons of static. And every time I think about it, I put everything away and then I forget again and then I go to use it and everything sticks. So, good times. There's our one piece. evening evergreen piece and our soft succulent piece. Put my dies away before they end up on the floor. All right, so now we are ready to assemble our card. And I actually didn't need to stamp all those because I had two ready to go, but that's okay. I can use them on another project. Bring back in all my pieces and the finished card there so you can see it. So we're going to take our soft succulent layer and some seal. And I just kind of try to center it on the basic white. I made that a little too long. No, I didn't. I know what I did wrong. I didn't put this down first. This was down first, guys. Sorry. It's been like 2 weeks since I made this card and I forgot what I did. Put this piece down on your card base first. And then we'll put this down. That is the same length as the card base. And then put that inside. There they are. And then we have our stamped piece here. It's going to go onto the foil. And like I said, I think this card would be beautiful with either the gold or copper foil that is still in the catalog. This is the champagne foil. So I'm going to take a couple of dimensionals to the back of that. Or 5 or 6. Oh, 6. And just kind of up in the left corner a little. Then we can take our sentiment and put on our die cuts. So for the evening evergreen one, I just used a bit of steel. You could use Tombow glue or glue dots, whatever you have. And this kind of determined where the other two. Put that there. And then I put dimensionals on the back of these. This one for that one. And you could also, this would be a great card to use the mini dimensionals that we have. Put that one there. And I kind of tried to make it so that the stem's kind of lined up. And then to finish that, I used a few of the gilded gems. I used the largest size one, or the medium. The medium, sorry about that. I used the medium sized one, and I just put 3. So what I like to do when I do that is I center the one, and then I just put 1 on each side so that it looks sort of even, or as even as I can make it. And then just a few dimensionals on the back of that. And if you find that your stems are too long, you can always trim them with paper snips. Let's see. Mine look okay. Layer that like that. And that's a little long, so I am going to trim it. There. And then just our inside, and our card is finished. A little bit of seal. And there is our finished card. So for my giveaway this week, I am going to be giving away a sample of the Your Peach Designer Series paper. I just want to show you what it looks like. It's so pretty. So the paper when you buy it comes in 12 by 12, but I've cut this down to 6 by 6, and it's just a little sample. You get one sheet of the designs. It's two-sided. So all you have to do to win that is to go ahead and leave a comment on this video, and I will pick a winner next Friday and announce it right here on my Facebook Live. So I hope to see you guys next Friday. And if you're in the area, come on out to the Bay County Fairgrounds tomorrow. See you next week.